Hi there, I'm Stephen Graves, Special Project Editor at Decrypt, and I am joined by Brett McLean, Head of Payments and Blockchain Business Unit at Kraken. Brett, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. So we'll plunge straight in. In a recent blog post, Kraken argued in favor of using exchange liquidity as a key metric for traders over volume. Can you walk us through what the limitations are of trading volume as a metric?
Sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with trading volume per se. I think it's more so that it only tells part of the story. So, in terms of trading volume and where you want to trade and where you're going to get best execution, that's what traders really care about, is that they want to get the best price. And so, trading volume doesn't actually indicate whether you're getting the best price. It's just indicating that there's a lot of activity happening. And so, for us, for Kraken, we value liquidity a lot more than volume.
So why is liquidity an important metric for exchanges?
I think it shows that there's depth to the order book. So if I'm somebody who wants to make like a large order, I want to make sure I get best execution. And if there's lots of volume on a trading pair, it might seem like I'm going to get a great price, but maybe that's only for the first $5,000 of my order. And if I have a larger order, or if it's like a larger client who wants to, buy $1 million of Bitcoin, they might move the order books dramatically on one exchange, whereas on Kraken, it's not going to move the books nearly as much and they'll get a much better price at the end of the day. So I think the interesting part for us is that we're consistent across several markets in terms of like having really tight spreads and really good fill depth, and I think that's a North Star metric for Kraken, that we value that very highly. And so we're always trying to cultivate relationships and cultivate our business to ensure that we've got really deep order books on all the assets that we offer.
Of course, liquidity, trading volume, they're just one of a number of metrics that you guys use to track market health. What are some of the other ones you look at?
I think we also look at like geographic support. So even though we're a U.S. exchange, we're one of the most popular exchanges in Europe as well. We were one of the first to offer euro pairs for Bitcoin back in 2014, and so I would say we're really strong in Europe and we really value that market. And so we're always trying to offer really attractive markets to Europeans as well. So offering euro pairs, GBP, and again, having really good liquidity there. So some exchanges might have really good volume on their USD pairs potentially. So you get really good execution on USD, but maybe not so much on GBP or euros. And as a result, clients in Europe may not have a really great experience on those exchanges. So for us, we're cultivating those relationships and that geographic support, in the US and Europe and the UK, Canada, Australia, and soon to be other countries as well.
So earlier this year, Kraken launched Embed, which is a crypto as a service offering for banks and fintechs. Can you walk us through what it is and how it works?
Sure. So Kraken Embed is a way for fintechs and neobanks to offer crypto to their clients in a really simple and easy integration. So one of our first partnerships was with Bunk, one of the largest neobanks in Europe. And they were able to go from having nothing and just having a conversation with us all the way to being live, offering all of the assets that Kraken offers in just 6 weeks. And so that's a really rapid turnaround to be able to have no exposure to crypto whatsoever for your product or your company, to being able to offer the 400 plus assets that Kraken supports in just 6 weeks to your clients. So for us, it's about enabling those other businesses and spreading the adoption of crypto worldwide.
You mentioned Bunk. What are some of the other partners that have integrated Kraken Embed to date?
Yeah, so Alpaca we just announced. So they are an equities broker company that many fintechs and neobanks use to offer equities through their apps. So kind of a similar model to what we're doing with crypto. And so we've partnered with them to offer our crypto product Embed through that to those clients. So I think they have something like 200 plus clients today that they're offering equities with. And now those clients will all get access to our crypto products as well.
So how does liquidity on Kraken factor into the Kraken Embed offering?
So again, yeah, it comes down to really great execution. So all of these clients who are using Kraken, these neobanks, fintechs, and offering it to their clients, they get the assurance that their clients are going to be getting really great execution, really good prices when they're buying crypto, and really good, depth in order books. So if they have a client who comes along and wants to buy a large amount of Bitcoin, they aren't going to get wrecked on the price or have to go to like an OTC, like over the counter trading desk to get a really good price, they'll just be able to go with Kraken or through us, Kraken Embed.
So Kraken Embed reflects sort of an interesting development in how the role of exchanges is evolving. How do you see that playing out as crypto becomes more integrated into the broader financial space?
Yeah, I think it's becoming platformized and commoditized to a degree, and so I think from our perspective, like we're obviously very competitive in this space, going after crypto natives and folks who are already kind of in crypto, and even clients who aren't. You know, we see tons of interest in signups, from folks who've never touched crypto before. It's their first time using crypto. Um, but the question is, how do we access all the people that don't have that curiosity, and how do we again accelerate this global adoption of crypto and this next generation for financial services? So for us, it's about powering these other businesses and getting them access. Because I think the moment that somebody gets to send a stable coin to family members overseas and being able to spend that in just a matter of seconds without having to use almost any intermediaries, it's a real like aha moment for people. And so the more we can do that, the more we can make it easy for people to get access to these products and services. I think the more that we're going to see people moving on chain and using more financial services on chain.
And how do you see centralized crypto exchanges fitting into this ecosystem as crypto gains mainstream adoption?
Yeah, I think they're kind of going to be the nexus for a lot of it. I think DeFi is playing a really big role, and I think it's my personal hope that that continues to accelerate and that people get more familiar with it. It's just a little bit more complicated than using a centralized exchange. A centralized exchange is a much more familiar experience. It feels kind of like a bank, kind of like a brokerage, and it's a little bit more understandable. I think decentralized finance is definitely that next level. And so it's a good gateway for a lot of people. And I think it's going to serve, a large chunk of the population worldwide, and will be kind of a center for, again, sourcing liquidity, being a trusted place to store your assets. So for custody, as well as being able to earn yield off of your assets, off of your crypto with either proof of stake kind of services. So I think that we are going to be always on the cutting edge of crypto services, and everybody downstream. So again, fintechs, neobanks, they might pick and choose, and they're maybe not going to go quite as far down that rabbit hole. And we'll always be like kind of pushing that frontier for what services can be offered. And then downstream, people will pick those up as adoption grows or as the industry gets more comfortable with some of those services. Because even like staking and earning yield on crypto, many people in TradFi, they understand earning yield on an asset, right? But I don't think they understand necessarily the ins and outs, the nitty gritty of it on chain. So we're trying to simplify that and abstract that away for people.
What do you see as the sort of future opportunities, above and beyond Embed for integrating more with the existing infrastructure of banks and fintechs?
Yeah, I think for Kraken, it's really just being a one-stop shop. So being able to send funds peer-to-peer, being able to buy equities, being able to earn yield on your money in as many ways as possible. I think that's really critical for us, so that you don't really need to leave Kraken. You don't need to go and sign up for five other apps. To be able to do all the things that you want to do with your money. We want to be able to offer that all within the Kraken ecosystem as much as possible.
Do you see an evolution of like standards in the industry to help facilitate those sort of integrations as well?
Yeah, I think there's some standards that have come out around sending stablecoin payments. I think that will start to be adopted. We'll see. Like if you look at TradFi, like we've got Swift. That's the only standard that everybody is able to agree on. And if you look at Europe, the whole open banking initiative again had to be passed by law, and they were given like 10 years to do it. And it's still like people are like waiting to the very last. Like I think instant SEPA is a requirement for all banks in Europe by like September. There's a lot of banks who are going to turn it on September 1st. So like without like a strong mandate, it's really hard to get these standards in place. The cool thing about crypto is that we did all of this without having any government. In fact, it's quite the opposite, right? Is that many governments have been hostile to it. So I have hope that the industry can get there and like coalesce around standards. I think it'll just be whether we can work together and cooperate enough to accelerate things. Because I think it's in everybody's best interest. There's just a lot of strong opinions.
And looking to the future of Kraken specifically, what's next on the roadmap for you guys?
Yeah, we've got some exciting launches coming up this year. So we announced our tokenized equities, initiative, which is really, really cool. Where you'll be able to send and receive, like, and hold in a non-custodial fashion your stocks, basically, on the Solana blockchain. We're going to support that on other blockchains. We launched our peer-to-peer product where you can send funds to really anybody you want. We've got Kraken Embed that just came out. We've got several other initiatives that are, again, I can't really speak to them at the moment, but really, really exciting stuff coming up.
So plenty in the pipeline. Brett, thanks very much for joining us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Stephen.